I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother.
Hello, Taurus, Gemini, Moon sign people. This is your Lunar New Year. Yay! Happy Lunar New Year. It comes with the new moon in your sign, and that will be in Gemini on the 13th of this month. And it is in addition to your monthly new and full moon readings. This is like a bird's eye view looking over your emotional realm, let's say, for the year. It's an introspective, and these readings are specifically for those of us who have experienced and are experiencing or healing and are serious about working on mama drama trauma in our lives. And that's the condition in which the mother inflicts unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical abuse. These readings are based on the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, Great Mother, the Holy Spirit, the still small voice of our intuition, and what we know, that yin energy that is a part of all of us deeply wants to connect with those of us through this deck and through these readings, through the work that I do as a life coach, who have been estranged, who have been alienated from her voice due to our birth mother experience. And so we're going to get right into this reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this the first 6 months and then the second 6 months, so that you can really kind of get a look at what's going on from now until your full moon, which is that halfway mark. When the moon is in Gemini, that'll be coming up. That full moon in November is your full moon. It's the halfway mark of your year. So although we'll be doing a full moon report, of course, as we always do, full moon reading rather, in Gemini at that time, this reading is going to give you again that bird's eye view of what is happening for you, for your sign. Now, the moon is truly only one aspect, and so we don't do readings, astrological or otherwise, based on one aspect usually. But with the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, with the readings that I have at greatmotherspeaks.info, which you can get a more original, specialized reading for you, what you'll want to do, because everyone's moon phase in which they were born is different. Not everyone was born during the new moon of Gemini. You know, some of you were born during the full moon in Gemini, and that's your Lunar New Year. Some of you were born the crescent moon and the balsamic moon, and that is truly your Lunar New Year. So go to the links below to see what phase that you were born in Gemini. You know, you may be third quarter phase Gemini moon. And so those are the aspects that we want to look at when you get your personal reading, the actual house. These are based on a general reading where Gemini's in the first house. We're talking about the new moon phase here, and the transits that were happening during your actual birth will modify this reading. Of course, we're going to do it generally from the first house, as I said, with the new moon happening now and with the transits that are happening now. Here in June, and the new moon on the 12th and 13th, we have Mercury in Gemini on the 12th. So we are looking at this conjunction of Mercury entering into Gemini at this time. And so your emotional sign of Gemini is really going to want to be quite communicative. It's really going to want to share a lot of what it is feeling at that time, because of course the Western, the tropical is your moon sign in Gemini, is the earth-centric, the egocentric, the yang action-oriented aspect of your moon sign. And the sidereal, which is your Taurus, which is actually what your moon sign is as well, is going to be looking at the soul aspect and that astrology, which is a much more cosmological aspect. And so looking at this new moon for you, it says that you're entering here with Adi Shakti. Now, when we talk about mama drama trauma, being accepting and conscious of the unconscious realm and its motivations provides an introspective dimension to one's life and a deeper sense of self-awareness. And so when we are accepting of MDT and we're willing to work with it, we're serious about it, we are able to engage ourselves in this new moon energy, which is very reflective. New moon energy is very, when it's your Lunar New Year, it's a time for those of you who actually have your new moon as your birth moon phase. It's a very reflective time. Now, if your Gemini is full moon, then it's going to be November for you. So we're June, July, August, September, October, November. And so full moon, if that's your phase, this is going to be your reflective time for you with the Mother Mary card. Generally, Gemini moon sign people, Taurus and the sidereal, you're going to be entering this Lunar New Year with an attitude of release. You are in a place where you've done all that you can do about mama drama trauma. You either in a personal or professional situation or in an ongoing situation with your mother have gotten to a point where you realize you've done all that you can do. It's a bit frustrating because you really have tried to do a lot. You've tried to change the situation. You've tried to modify the circumstances, and it's just not happening. And so what has happened is that Great Mother has come through with this energy of Adi Shakti in a twist your dream type of situation where your desire to have this situation healed. You're not even at the point anymore where you think that this is going to be healed by your mother, that she's going to be accepting, that she's going to do her emotional work at this point. You not necessarily have given up on her, but you have gotten to the point where you realize that the focus is you. The focus is your healing and how you can go about that, because you have done all that you can do on that end. Not to say that that end will not resolve itself at some point, but you're accepting of that. You are involuntarily surrendered to that in this month of June. Taurus, Gemini moon people, your Lunar New Year really just starts off with this acceptance, and the new moon on the 12th, 13th is going to make you really want to communicate this in some way. You want to share your deepest feelings about this because it's a kind of an emotional rebirth for you. You're actually, with this new moon, are setting the intention in your body mind to be okay with this as it is. You are at a point of acceptance. It's a reluctant acceptance. It's an involuntary surrender, but you're there. And by the end of June, now remember, lunar cycles go an entire month. New moon to balsamic moon, or new moon to new moon, some people say. But within 2 weeks, by the end of this month of June, which is just 2 weeks after the new moon, okay, and so 2 weeks after is we're talking about full moon time, getting up on the full moon. Venus is going to enter Leo. And so that's your third house. And so that's important to mention. I'm not going to mention all the transits that are happening, but I'm just going to mention the most important ones for the general collective unconsciousness of Taurus, Gemini. And this is important because third house is, again, communicative energy. Gemini is that communicating your understanding, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And for this to happen during the run up to the full moon in June, which will be in Capricorn, you're really kind of getting your emotional ducks in a row, and you're ready to communicate them in loving ways with this Venus energy. And so check back with your, of course, new moon reading and full moon reading to kind of see how these particular transits are working for you with Adi Shakti, that primordial mother energy, that great mother energy that's really reaching out to you during your Lunar New Year time. July, we have balsamic energy. Of course, with lunar years, we go backwards, okay? Normally, it's new moon to crescent, okay? And then first quarter and full moon, and third quarter and balsamic. But with the Lunar New Year, the Gemini moon is in the new moon on the 12th, 13th. But in July, the Gemini moon is going to be in a balsamic moon phase, which is all about that reflection. which is all about giving thanks for what you have garnered over your lunar cycle, resting and restoration. So this lunar cycle that has happened over the previous year up to this lunar new year really doesn't come to culmination during this new moon. This new moon is kind of an ending. That's why some people say new moon to new moon. It's really like an ending. And it's really kind of a calibration in which you do reluctantly accept the surrender of Great Mother kind of being your safe place to fall, so to speak, in accepting your MDT. So that by the time this balsamic Gemini energy comes in July around the 10th and 11th, you're in a space of gratitude, you're tired, you're resting, you're kind of recuperating from all of this energetic stuff, and you really need to, because there are two important transits that are happening for you. Jupiter is going direct on the 10th. It has been retrograde since the 8th of March. And so since the end of the first quarter, the quarterly readings will be coming out soon as well. And you might want to look at your quarterly readings. You know, we do the new full moon and then we do the quarterly readings. And this is why. Because Jupiter going direct in your third house as well in Leo on the 10th during your moon is also emphasizing, enhancing, and buttressing your ability to, supporting your ability to communicate how you're feeling now. All the stuff that you've calibrated over the last year about trying to work things out, whether it's directly with your mother or with relationships that we have with people, because our parents establish how we relate to others, right? And so challenges that you've been having relating to other people as a result of your whole setup, okay, your whole programming, due to this abandonment and abuse from mama drama trauma, you've surrendered to. And this balsamic energy is kind of a gratitude, but you're tired. And here comes Jupiter finally coming into its direct mode. And what's Jupiter? It's all about abundance. It's all about wisdom. And you have Mave, which is self-responsibility. You are ready in July to go forward on your journey towards Gemini moon, people. You're ready to accept the reality of your path that you've chosen to heal this. And you feel that you can communicate what you need to communicate, whether or not others adhere to how you're feeling, whether or not you're sharing your emotions in a way that is authentic to you but is received as a problem to other people, which is typical. All this stuff is really typical to MDT. You know, it is a cycle that requires that our soul evolves in a way that it purifies self-love and spiritual independence. So this is why we talk about our lunar cycles. We talk about how we feel. We talk about the reality of what's going on beneath the surface, because the experience purifies us to the point where it's very important that we get to that place. And Mave is that yellow brick road card. It is that card that the Munchkins are singing, you know, to Dorothy, follow the yellow brick road, the poster child of mama drama trauma. And so you are following the yellow brick road by July. You are speaking your truth. And Mercury is now going retrograde by the end of July on the 26th in Leo. So while Mercury entered in June and the communications there, you're going to have this window of about 2 weeks in July, in the 10th, where you're really going to feel like communicating and sharing. And then Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 26th, and you will continue to communicate. You will continue to share how you feel, but it's going to become even more thoughtful, even more deep, even more endearing, and even more clear, because the third transit that is very important for you taking responsibility for the path that you've chosen is the total lunar eclipse that is occurring on the 27th of July. The last one we had was on the 30th of January. And if you remember, it was extremely cleansing. It was in follow-up to the total solar eclipse in August of 2017. Solar eclipses are when the new moon, the dark moon, covers the sun and it pulls out the shadows that we don't want to face. Total lunar eclipses are when full moons, that full moon on the 27th in Capricorn is going to it's going to be in Aquarius, is going to cover the sun in Leo. And so that Aquarian energy is going to purify, that full moon energy of Aquarius is going to purify what is left over from that Leo solar eclipse that happened almost a year ago from this July 27th in August of 2017. So another purification is coming. You're going to have that purification happening for you in your emotional space as it relates to this rest and restoration that you're receiving. You're going to receive at this time, at the end of July, a lot of downloads. Now, you are also receiving them in June, but they're going to be amplified, of course, because of these amplified transits and the fact that your Gemini moon is balsamic. So that on the 10th and 11th is the balsamic moon for that lunar cycle in Gemini, which is the download moon. You're going to get a lot of guidance and insights from your angels, guides, and ancestors about how to communicate. So you're not going to be left out here on your own about how to articulate your feelings and about how to establish your boundaries, how to define your boundaries and that sort of thing, and how to really trust your gut about going forward. You're going to get a lot of guidance, just as Dorothy did along her yellow brick road. Now, as we look into August, we see that we are moving into a waxing crescent energy with the full moon Gildeptus card. So we're showing a synthesis that is occurring in your third eye, in your insight, that Taurus energy, that intuitive energy, that soul energy that you download into the Gemini, which is a very loyal energy. This moon sign is a very loyal energy. It has a lot of difficulty letting go of traits, attitudes, and behaviors of the mother because it is loyal to the mother more so than other signs. It has this strong tendency. And so what we see happening in August is that you're going to be able to recognize what parts serve you of those attitudes. So let's say, for example, one of the things that really made you feel abandoned or abused was a tendency for a mother to overspeak, for example, how she felt. You know, sometimes as a parent, you know, we may feel certain ways about our children, but we don't articulate them because we know that that could damage them in irreparable ways. But with a mama drama trauma, that is a common occurrence. You know, for example, a mother saying, "I wish you had never been born," or "I wish you had left or gone somewhere just like your father. You know, I don't need either one of you." And that kind of repetitive type of language, as an example, if that is a trait, that is something that you have consciously and introspectively recognized as something that is not serving you and that you're carrying over into your own motherhood, then what August is going to offer you is an opportunity to clearly see how that tendency of your mother has served you. You know, sometimes what happens with mama drama traumas is that we're given certain traits, we're given certain behaviors to assist us with self-love and spiritual independence. And for both of those, you need a lot of confidence. And that is not necessarily confidence. It could be quite the opposite, very low self-esteem to say something like that to your child. But because it was received from your innocence as a child, then maybe it could have been interpreted in that example as confidence. And maybe that is a trait that you do have, to express yourself and articulate yourself no matter what it is to people. You know, they say some people, you know, just express the truth and you know, they, you know, let the chips fall where they may. and hurting people along the way, like a bull in a china shop, you know, that Taurus, that bull energy. And you want to recognize that that is very useful in some situations. In some situations where it really is important for you to speak up for yourself, that's exactly what you want to do. But here in August, what you really want to focus on are situations in which that's not so useful. That you have experienced backlash and feedback has been given to you repetitively in circumstances in your life in which things don't come together for you when that trait is expressed. When things actually fall apart, when you're left feeling the way that you used to feel when your mother did that to you. And that's why you want to get rid of it, but separate the wheat from the chaff. Like the old folks used to say, that's a harvest term. You know, you want the good wheat and you want to leave the stuff that looks like wheat but is not going to make any bread. You throw that away. And it may look good, but you let that go because you know what you really need the substance for. And so the substance of her behavior that you want to retain, which would be the confidence, is what August is really going to bring to light for you. You're really going to see quite clearly what those things are. And you may have been told again what these traits are that you embody and that you resemble in your mother. And you may have been even criticized for them. And again, when things don't come together and you realize, it's because of this, you know, I'm acting just like her. I'm just like my mom, you know. And when we're like our mother in ways that we don't want to be, it's really good to take the time to separate the wheat from the chaff so that during this kind of waxing crescent period for the Gemini moon during the 6th and 7th of August, and this is a time where we're having a partial solar eclipse. The eclipse season is coming to a close, and so the partial solar is not a complete pulling of the shadows, but it's a partial pulling of the shadows. And so there are going to be some things that you're going to be pulling up during that first week when the moon is in your sign on the 6th and the 7th in August. And so you're going to be again assisted with getting clarity about what these traits are and what's good about them you want to keep and what you want to give away to the cosmos and say, okay, great mother, I don't want this. Help me with this. And you will be assisted. You will be assisted. You have a great abundance of these traits that you can give away, you can sacrifice to the cosmos. And sacrifice is giving away something of value for something of greater value. And so that means that this trait has served you in some ways. It has perhaps made you feel safe. It has perhaps made you feel a sense of self-esteem when you have felt weak, to lash out in that way. Again, we are taught how to behave. We are demonstrated by those who are to us gods. You know, they feed us, they know everything, they teach us how to survive in the world. And so whatever they say and however they behave must be correct, right? It must be. And so we carry this belief over into adulthood until we do run into situations when things do not come together so well for us. And so look for that in August to get some clarification about that and what seeds you want to plant going forward in your new year, which is now gainfully underway. Because in September, on the 2nd and 4th is Gemini moon. This moon is your first quarter moon with the Pachamama card. This is a root chakra card. It is also a waning gibbous moon card. And this card is all about grounding yourself. So now that you've come to this realization and surrender, and you're wanting to move forward on your path, and you're getting clarity about how to do that in a way that is most productive for you, you're also being encouraged by your first quarter moon, which is about taking action to face a challenge. Okay, you're making a decision to face this challenge, to reground yourself in Gaia, Earth Mother energy. And so go outside in September, enjoy the fall or the spring, wherever you are. Go outside barefoot, walk on the beach, go to a lake, really intentionally spend your time that entire month. If nothing, the second and the fourth, when the moon is in your sign, go out there during that. I'm sorry, this is third quarter moon energy for you. This backwards is really something to get into. And it really is, because it's an introspective energy. It takes us back deeper and deeper into Great Mother energy. So this is third quarter energy. So now that you've been given the insight in August about how to move forward, you are then giving the insight with this third quarter moon about how to release. The third quarter moon is about releasing, letting go of what no longer serves you. And so you will be given that thrust, and it will be amplified by you going outside in September. You will be put in touch with your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. And your personal integrity, what's underneath that trait, what's underneath that loyalty, that's yours, that's unique to you. You know, you have your own sense of confidence, your own sense of self-esteem that is not tainted by the MDT. And September is going to reground you in that with that third quarter moon energy that is going to support the release and letting go and forgiveness of your mother for transmitting those negative aspects to you that preoccupied you your entire life up until now, should you choose to work with Great Mother energies in September, which are third quarter energies for you from the 2nd to the 4th of September, by you going outside and regrounding yourself in the world. And regrounding has to do with, of course, our mother is our mothership, our earth mother that grounds us into the physical world the first time. But once we are reborn, okay, and this surrender that you open up the year with is all about surrendering yourself so that you can be reborn, so that you can redefine yourself in your life. And so this is what this year for you is showing us and beginning to unfold and tell us that it's about. And so by September, your 4th month, you're really looking into forgiving what has brought you to this point, which was you entering the new year just saying, I've done all I can do. There's nothing more that I can do about this. And okay, Great Mother, show me the way. And she's showing you the way. And in September, regrounding yourself to rebirth yourself, your identity, your thoughts, your beliefs into the world by releasing what no longer serves you through your intention. Now, the September new moon will be of course, in the Virgo. And so look back again at the new moon reading to see what energies are supporting you in establishing your intentions of what you're releasing and how you want to do that with the energies that are available to really support you to do that. In October, you have Demeter, another full moon card. This is about accepting your feelings. And so many times after we have acknowledged mama drama trauma, we've surrendered to the healing of it and we begin processing it. I see you have another gut chakra card, which is all about processing the digestion of the emotions. Great Mother's really encouraging you to accept them. Now, Gemini moon is actually from the 30th of September to the 1st of October. So the very 1st of October, there will be kind of this waning gibbous energy that is all about you having a sense of being grateful that you have shared and you have taken responsibility and you have been communicating how you feel. And she's really encouraging you to own that. She's really encouraging you to own that birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. This is actually the card where Dorothy wears the ruby red slippers, which symbolize our birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. That is what she had to take along her healing journey along the yellow brick road. And so you have your shoes to travel this journey this year and to bring the unconscious into the conscious realm, to seriously focus on this healing, and remembering that, this is your lunar cycle, this is your lunar energy, and you can work with it however you want to work with it, and you can take whatever path that you want to take. But what Great Mother is saying is that there's a great wellspring within you that's emerging, that is really worth looking at this month with this waning gibbous energy. It's a real opportunity to express to yourself the gratitude that you have for it. I see full moon here, and so waning gibbous is when your moon is happening, the 30th of September, the 1st of October. But I'm seeing with this full moon card that maybe around the 25th or the 26th of October, when the full moon happens, again, of course, checking out that reading, but feeling it within yourself, your own energy during that full moon in Aries, just really feeling that pioneering spirit, that new path energy, that you're going a new way in your life, and being grateful for that, being open to sharing that with people who are noticing a difference in you, that, wow, you're not really lashing out like you used to, what's going on, what are you doing? You seem to be a little lighter these days, and you can, accept your feelings about that, that, hey, I am doing better. I am feeling better. And it's hard sometimes for us to accept our birthright, isn't it? Because we're so used to another problem, another hurled criticism coming around the corner, that, this happiness can't last too long. When Great Mother is saying, wear your ruby red slippers and don't take them off throughout your journey. November, speaking of journey, continues on with that mother energy. Of course, Glinda the Good Witch, who bestows the slippers on Dorothy, symbolizes mother energy. And Mother Mary, of course, is the mother of Jesus, but she's also the energy in all of us, that yin energy, the law of divine father, which balances it out, that gives us that confidence to be the mother that we know that we need to be. Again, to refrain from disparaging remarks from other people, and to balance that yin energy and the yang energy that we see here. The double yang card actually is about taking action on what you know, on how you feel. So we see that in October, there's a gut chakra full moon card, accepting how you feel about your birthright, embracing your birthright, your blessings. We see that in November, with your full moon in Gemini in November, Great Mother's coming through, and she's saying, act on your feelings, act on that gratitude, act on the fact that you now truly know that it is your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. If others haven't recognized it in you, you certainly have. And act on that recognition with this third quarter energy that's saying, release, let go, forgive. You know that you're good by now. You've had a lot of guidance. You've been working with your own energy. And if you've really worked on regrounding yourself and taking the time to do that in the month of September, you are really feeling like a different person. Now, the challenges that we have are ongoing, but we see that from the first part of the year to your full moon, what the trajectory is telling us, that you've come in with the primordial mother energy, which is a very strong yin intuitive energy, to a very strong yang energy. So by your full moon, you are actually seeing that things are coming together through a surrendering and a recognition of what you've needed to do to assist that happening. This is a really, really powerful time for you. The transits that are going on that are worth mentioning in November, as far as, if we're talking about taking action, it's very important to note that full moon energy tells us that you have the power, and this is happening around the 23rd and 24th of November, around Thanksgiving. You have the power. And so there's no need to be overly concerned about interactions in November. You have the power to follow up with your intention that was set during the beginning of your Lunar New Year, and to have this appreciation for what is manifesting as your highest good. That's what Adi Shakti is about. Adi Shakti is that twister dream when, you know, she's just reflecting on the things in her life that are good and that she loves about the farm. And then by the end of the dream, what she does not. You know, Miss Gulch turns into that witch that she then must go on the journey to destroy. Now, although we're not talking about destroying our mothers, what we're talking about again is sacrificing what no longer serves us so things can come together in our lives in a way that we can accept our birthright. That's what we're talking about. And in order to do that with this full moon energy, Great Mother wants you to know that you are being bestowed with the power to follow up with your intention that you set out with, to surrender so that Great Mother can support you through the energies that are available. Now, there may be some rage, there may be some drama, of course, coming together with individuals from our family that have instigated and perpetuated MDT. And so in anticipation of that conflict, you want to recognize that the forgiveness, the letting go energy of this third quarter moon card is about acting on that as well. Now check back with your full moon reading about the energies that will support you to do that. But what is really important, although this is your Gemini moon, the 23rd and the 24th, it was a full moon in Gemini at the end of November. The beginning of November is the nodal shift. Eclipse season ends with Leo in the north node and Aquarius in the south. And that means that the nodes shift from your third house of communication, which is very much the house of Gemini, right? And what we've kind of been focusing on for you in this general reading, the nodes with the end of that eclipse season coming to a close on the 7th of November move into your second house. Lunar energies are precessional energies. And so this is conjunct the new moon in Scorpio on the 7th, but the nodes actually shift from Leo to Cancer in the north node and Capricorn in the south, with Gemini in the north and the sidereal, and Sagittarius in the south and the sidereal. So what this means is that weeks before your full moon, the nodes will shift. And so that is a huge boost of energy to support you with this forgiveness at the end of the year. You might have some real miracles that are occurring for you, in other words, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people during this time. Okay, so what may sound impossible at this particular time when the reading is coming, when you're surrendering and you've done all you can do, it may be kind of hard to see that by November, working with the lunar energies as Great Mother has shared with you will be most productive for you. May be kind of hard to see, but that is not taking into consideration what she has shared and what these transits are doing. Eclipse season shifts, and that season is an 18-month season. And it's coming to a close on the 7th of November, okay? This full moon for you is on the 23rd, 24th of November. So weeks before, you're going to get a huge boost that's going into Cancer North Node. What does that mean? That's the mother energy. That's the collective planetary energy, the soul energy, going into Cancer on an emotional kind of a state. And so there's going to be a lot of energy focused toward femininity, toward the yin. There's going to be a lot of release of old order, old ways of governing, and we're already seeing that burgeoning at this particular time. But it's going to be very important because it's relating to our values, it's relating to what we feel is important in the world as a collective soul of the planet, and it's also going to really be playing off of this Uranus energy in the second house as well. So a lot of profound shifts, shall we say, with the nodal shift in November that will begin at that time, but of course over 18 months will play out quite impressively. Now, that is your first 6 months. Let us go into the final 6 months of your lunar year, Gemini moon sign people. The second half of your year obviously is after the full moon, going into the crescent moon of the following year. And of course, your crescent moon is in May, which just passed. That crescent moon in Gemini happened for you in May. So that's where you will end here. But December with Hecate is a crossroads for you. And how apropos, in the middle of your reading, you're at a crossroads. Now, the crossroads has to do with you now having gained this understanding from the first half of the year, holding on to it, and holding on to your birthright, those ruby red slippers, your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. No one can take that away from you. So this is some indication that in December, there may be, with the winter solstice on the 21st, which is when your waxing gibbous moon in Gemini is occurring. In other words, the winter solstice moon is in Taurus Gemini. So this energy is a crossroads. It is truly a rebirth for you. It's a rebirth for you in terms of how you are now seeing yourself. You may be triggered back into some attitudes of codependency. You may be feeling some need to fantasize about the intentions of your mother. She really didn't mean that. You know, what have I been doing? You know, with this mama drama trauma, you know, it's the holidays and all these emotions coming up. It's a crossroads for you. And the card here is a crescent moon card, which is all about the planting. It's all about the continuum emotionally between passive and aggressive behavior, which is what we deal with mama drama trauma. The mother's either too smothering, which is where the abandonment occurs, and sometimes abuse, or too aggressive, which is where the abuse occurs, and the abandonment. So we have this continuum, and we're looking at, okay, so how do I balance this? How do I find an equilibrium? And what Great Mother is saying is that by continuing to speak your truth with this gut, this throat chakra in the crescent moon card, continuing to speak your truth, continuing to assert your experiences, and utilizing the energies that are there for you. Every year with this winter solstice, we have the shortest day of the year, which is bringing in the darkness, and all cultures around the world, whatever they are, celebrate the light. And in celebration of the light, lights on Christmas trees, candles, whatever you want to use, it is symbolic of the inner light. So lunar energy is talking about the inner energy, the emotional, the intuitive energy. And so shine a light for you is this shining a light in all of this darkness on honoring your birthright, standing up for yourself, because there's no way that it's going to be taken away. You know, whoever tries is going to be shocked, you know, to find out that they can't. And so there may be some apprehension about that. There may be some fears about that because it's still fresh for you in December. And so just be aware of that. Don't get down on yourself. And you might want to reconstitute those traits that we use, for example, to speak up for yourself, and not realizing that you needed to separate the wheat from the chaff. Now that you have done that work, hopefully, and regrounded yourself and in your best qualities from the new to your full moon, now that you're going into your waxing gibbous state, which is all about refining, revision, okay, you know, editing, that you're able to say, okay, well, this is where I am now, and this is where I need to go. This is what's important to me. And even though it's just a small light in the darkness of, you know, my life at this time, this is what's going to see me through. This is what truly has the power. The spirit does. The physical world has gone dark. and I need to bring forward the greatest light within inside of me for me to have the clarity. And so Great Mother's really talking to you about that, and she's really wanting you to tap into that spiritual independence in December. You may be triggered a little bit, and so just speak truth to power, and the power is within you. First and foremost, it's not about convincing other people of what you're learning and what you're doing. It's about convincing yourself. And the only way we convince ourselves is through our own action, attitude, and behavior change. You know, it takes a lot to get up and do things that we feel that we are called to do, until we do them enough and it becomes routine, just like any and everything else that we've done that we've wanted to change. Now, in January, you're going to be receiving a lot of angelic support. You always have it, but what's unique about this happening in January is the waxing gibbous energy continues for you. And this continues in a way that is going to support you to live in loving detachment from any retribution or condemnation or criticism that you may be feeling. Mama Drama Trauma is an experience of what I call relentless retribution. We're always blamed, aren't we? We're always the wrong one. You know, we're always, bad or the black sheep, telling the family secrets and all this kind of stuff. And so the angels are going to come through for you, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people, in January at the beginning of the year to refresh you. To recalibrate you, to release the toxins in your energetic field that are left from the work that you've done. And that's how the angels, ancestors, and guides work with us. They really do. It's a 50-50 thing, because we do have free will and they are here to assist us. We are not seen as weak victims. We are seen as spiritual beings having a physical experience, and they assist the spiritual being. Now, they also assist the physical being when it becomes emotionally challenged, okay, as we are with Mama Drama Trauma, and as we do experience. People with Mama Drama Trauma do receive special treatment, just like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We do, if you notice, a lot of people who have issues at home and childhood traumas, they tend to be superstars, and they tend to just get a lot of luck and blessings a lot of times. And when the energy is balanced enough with the intention to do that, we get what we want. And sometimes we want things that don't honor us very much, and we get that too. Because it's like that child, that planetary child that wasn't taken care of, that's crying out, that's crying, and Great Mother answers. So be careful what you pray for. And that's what these readings really help us to kind of refocus. We haven't gotten the full guidance and direction that we need, and we sense that. And Great Mother is coming through. She wants to connect to us that have been alienated and estranged from her due to our birth mother experience, so that we can get this alignment going. And the angels are going to come in full force in January to assist you with your cleansing and purification at that time. In February, you're going to have a first quarter energy. The first quarter moon is in Gemini in February, and it will be that energy that I was talking about before, that is about making a decision to take action to face a challenge. There'll be a challenge that's coming up for you to, again, acknowledge the abandonment or abuse. This will happen over and over again with healing Mama Drama Trauma until it's fully integrated as a truth in our lives. It's a painful cycle. It doesn't have to be as painful as it is, which is why we have the MDT support group and various other things that are offered on the mamadramatrauma.info site to support you with the information, the tools that you need to get through it. But it will come over and over and over again, and that's why many people don't do it, and why this is a planetary disorder and a taboo. People don't address it because they don't know how to. They don't want to uncover family secrets and all this kind of stuff. But what the acknowledgement card is about, it's about really resting in that. It's about really sitting with the Mama Drama Trauma. And after all those toxins are cleansed for you with this angelic energy in January, in February, what's going to happen is that whatever is left at the bottom is going to come up again. Okay, and that cycle is going to occur, and it's going to occur until all of that soot, tar, dirt from MDT is cleaned out of your system. And it is not for the weak. This, that's why, this channel is not promoted. It's not something that, is none of that. It's for whoever is attracted to come here to get the information, and you will receive it. Because it's all about you connecting with Great Mother to heal. And I've been trained to assist people to do the coaching and the emotional work. But she channeled this deck so that we can connect with her, the mother of all mothers. So by acknowledging the mama drama trauma again in February with this first quarter energy in Gemini, Taurus, Gemini moon people, you're going to be discerning what actions you need to take to support your intention that you had at the beginning of the year, which was to, again, surrender. So you might want to check out this video at different phases of the year for you to be reminded of these energies that have pretty much established your emotional support system to heal MDT. In February, you're going to be discerning what actions you need to take to move forward on your healing path. So that by March, as this first quarter energy continues, first quarter is in February, and it's also Gemini first quarter moon in March. And so this is a big decision. This is a big internal space that is needing to be moved and needed to be shifted. And now that you've acknowledged the abandonment abuse in March, there may be some victimization feelings that arise again, feeling that that's just how you feel. You are accepting how you feel, and you do feel that you're not perhaps able to create what you want to create in your life going forward, but you are taking the discerning action that you need to support your intention to surrender to the process. You're still very much wanting to continue surrendering to the process. And by doing that with that first quarter energy in March, taking action to support yourself and facing this challenge, this is what's going to clean out this soot. This is what's going to get rid of this dirt that's come up again. And it'll just keep on coming up. It'll just come up until it's cleaned out. It will be cleaned out. You are strong enough to do it. If you weren't, you would not have been born with MDT. And that's the message. If you don't get anything else, the message that you can heal it because you were born to. You were born to heal it. We're not born to be condemned. We're not born to condemnation. It's not like that. And things still come up for me. They come up because it is so deeply rooted, and we have to root it out. Sometimes we get tired and we take a break, and that's why the angels come through for you here in January, so that at the beginning of the year, you can get that, you made it through the holiday season. You did, all of this full moon work with taking action, with the forgiveness and all of that. And it was probably very difficult work, that full moon energy in Gemini, where you were third quarter releasing with that double young energy, releasing emotionally. So that comes up for you in March. But by April, because that comes up for you, you come to a new realization that things aren't as you knew at the beginning of your lunar year going to change. In April, Gemini is in waxing crescent. That's the energy of planting, and it is also the card in your Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. This is the first card that matches the moon phase for Gemini for the month. The crescent moon in April is in Taurus, Gemini, and so this very strongly says that you're going to be planting a new seed to reground yourself in the reality that your soulmate, our mother, is a soulmate. Again, that ship that brought us here, she's that ultimate bond. And as souls, we agreed to share this evolutionary experience of MDT. And so by regrounding yourself with the realization that you are an independent soul who has chosen to have this experience, and yes, it is painful, but you are, as a result of acknowledging it and doing your internal work, realizing that as a soulmate, she has fulfilled her end of the bargain to force you to evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. And you're realizing in April that you're planting this new seed of realization, that you're planting this new seed of acceptance in your life. And it feels again like rejection. It feels again like dejection and perhaps like neglect. But we catch ourselves, don't we? You know, we always want our mother to be something that she is not. But if we are able to realize, just as in December, that there was a crossroads here, and that crossroads with that winter solstice and that light of truth with that crescent energy was really calling us to look at our internal light for our own health, happiness, and wholeness, to hold on to that for ourselves, then we will require less of her. She can only give what she can give in the physical and by law. Remember when Miss Gulch came to steal Toto, which is, you know, when the rage really came up from Dorothy. Toto symbolizes her intuition. Aunt M said, we can't do anything. We can't go against the law of Dorothy. She must take Toto. And on a deep soul level, that is what has happened. It's a contract. We agreed to support each other, to learn how to love ourselves. So she's doing her part, and she's insisting that we do so. So as our soulmate, the birth mother will come up in April as a new seed of perception that you need to plant in yourself, and that whatever expectations you have of her to love you in ways that you don't know how to love yourself are ways in which you need to plant seeds of intention for you to do exactly that for yourself in your life. Now, that continuum of passive and aggressive behavior will come up for you again here as well. So whatever traits that you are wanting to release that no longer serve you, this would be a good time to do that as well. So that by May, you will be able to operate under the law of destiny and free will. The law of destiny and free will is a third quarter moon card. A lot of release and letting go, right? A lot of forgiveness. And we have fifth chakra here. So again, for Gemini, you have all this communication that's been coming up for you over and over again, and the transits that are supporting it throughout the year. In May, your crescent moon, this is about relaxing into your intention. And your intention all year has been, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people, to surrender to the process of healing. Now, this applies to the law of destiny and free will because you didn't have to choose this. You don't have to listen to your intuitive voice. You don't have to search out the supportive energies and learn about them through these readings. You don't have to do any of this. You know, like most people don't. Most people, you know, just, and I have had many lifetimes where I did the same thing. So I get it. You know, I've had past life regressions where I've seen my mother and I was her mother, you know, a couple of times. And, you know, I abandoned her. And so we do this back and forth with each other, but eventually you come to a place in a lifetime when you're ready to heal. And that is a free will choice. And it is also our destiny. Every soul must grow in self-love and spiritual independence, which is why Mama Drama Trauma is a planetary disorder. Now, as you heal this, coming to the end of your year with this double yang, single yin energy, this is telling us that you are putting into action what you have learned from your internal self, from your internal light. Great Mother has throughout the year been encouraging you to focus on that internal light. This is second chakra. We have the Ankh, which symbolizes the second chakra in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck in this waning gibbous phase. I'm just talking about the abundance that's overflowing and sharing with Thanksgiving what your true desires are. And your true desire here is to heal and to be guided into that healing by a power and an awareness greater than you. Great Mother is the mother of all mothers, and this has been her reading for your 2018 Lunar New Year Taurus Gemini Moon people. Again, check those sites below, those links for your unique lunar phase in which you were born. Just go to the website and plug in at the calendar, scroll down to the calendar for the year, the month, and the day that you were born, as well as to greatmotherspeaks.info for your personal reading that is more precise. Until the next time, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks. I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic.